Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Focus on South Texas. Art and faith go hand in hand with the Rise movement. This nonprofit is hosting its very first family-friendly music festival that will celebrate creativity while spreading an uplifting message. And here to tell us more are founders Jarrell and Jeneil Flowers. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Jarrell, first off, tell us about the Rise movement. What does this stand for?
Yeah, so RISE is actually an acronym that stands for Reach, Involve, Study, and Empower. So we love creatives. And anytime that we meet creatives, we want to take them to the next level, and we do that by reaching them. We do that by involving them in community. Sometimes it can be lonely as an artist, so we want people to join in community. And we also want people to study the artistic, spiritual, business aspects of their craft so that they can rise to the next level. And then we want to empower them. And this festival that we're doing is actually a part of empowering artists to get to that next level.
I love that. And tell us a little bit about how did the COVID pandemic shape the mission?
Yeah, I think for a lot of us, what it forced us into was more community. And just, in isolation, there was this need for us to say, man, how do we connect even in this time of isolation, right? And so we just started creating spaces for that. At first it was on Zoom, and we were just kind of like hanging out on Zoom and sharing thoughts and ideas and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, it just kind of blossomed into in-person gatherings, right? And so all these spaces started getting created for photographers and videographers and singers and songwriters and hip hop artists and all these different spaces. And so it really made us focus on community, whereas before it was more like event driven. And, you can go to an event and maybe not know somebody, but when the pandemic happened, it was just like, hey, we need to focus on relationships. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I love that. And Jeneil, speaking of community, the Rise movement is all about reaching the community through the art and through the good news, which I absolutely love. And what a better way to do that with this music festival. So tell us all about that.
So we do have our first music festival that we've done here in the city, and we have strategically placed it during Fiesta, which is already a time where we are already in that spirit of celebrating, right? And just enjoying our community and going together and just having a good time together. And that's something that's very important in the city of San Antonio, important to our culture. There's just been research and studies done in our city that the city has done that said that we as community, we want more celebrations, we want more festivals, we want more parades, we want those kind of things. And as an organization that wants to empower our creative community, we can use those giftings that are there in our creative friends and family to help meet that need. That's something that we desire as a people to do together. And so we get to actually solve that and bring it together into something that is a safe and uplifting environment during Fiesta. And so we're so excited to do that. We get to empower our artists from our community, local talent that's also going to be on stage and doing music. But it's also, we have some national acts that we're bringing in also, like King's Kaleidoscope out of Seattle, and then we're bringing in Tadashi, who is a hip hop artist, and so we're just going to come together and celebrate together. And in that time, so we're excited.
I love it. Yeah. So, just all about that community. And Jarrell, if you can give us a little more details about the festival.
Yeah, so it's called the Rise Music Festival, but there's so much more than music that's happening at the festival. So we've got vendors, people are going to be selling their arts and crafts and all that kind of cool stuff. We've got a mini food fest that's happening. And then we've also got panels and showcases for creators and innovators. And so when somebody comes to this festival, if you are an artist, you'll be able to walk away saying, man, I learned more about what it means to be a better artist. So we've got a producer panel. So people are going to be able to showcase their beats and all that kind of cool stuff. We've got an artist showcase. We've got a young creator showcase. It's just a panel and showcase for young creators who are looking to get their stuff out there. So there's a lot of stuff happening, and we just want to give good news to an artist in the city. I'm an artist that's, I've grown up here, you know what I mean? And I understand how sometimes it can be hard to access information and resources and even platforms as a creative. And so I'm just trying to provide something that I felt like wasn't accessible to me at the time. And hopefully people will walk away from this time of fiesta and celebration and be like, man, I grew as a person, as an artist, and I'm actually able to contribute to the community more.
I love it. It's kind of like a community resource fair for the artists in a way. So when and where is it going to be held?
So it's going to be Saturday, May 3rd at the Vibes Event Center. And so it's going to be there, and it's an indoor and outdoor event. So we have multiple rooms there. So we'll have all of these things going on at the same time. So it's truly a spirit of a festival that's just, you can choose where you're going to be at, or as a panel, or which artist you want to see, or do I want to go hang out in the back with the food trucks, or it's just the time to celebrate the creativity of our artists, but it's not just for artists to come and attend, because I'm personally not a creative. I'm not an artist, and even though I'm helping lead this organization with my husband, who is an artist, because it's important for all of us. We all are can be inspired by people with these giftings and things. So it's not just to grow artists and for them to be empowered and for them to grow and gather something from it, but for us to see their art, to hear their messages, to interact with them personally as they're out amongst the crowd, to even to buy our artists and their crafts and things, and artists. To support. It's a way to help empower them in that way too. So it's not just the Rise movement as an organization empowering. As a community, we come together and we celebrate and grow and empower each other that way too.
I love that kind of, helping and supporting those local artists. Like, keep on going. You're doing a great job. Exactly. You got this. So I love that. Jeneil, how can viewers find out more about what Rise is doing in the community? Because yes, y'all are planning this big, amazing festival, but you guys are doing so much.
Yes, I think probably the easiest way in this time of technology is we have our website, of course. You can go to therisemovement.co. And that's where you can find out more about our community, what's happening, to contact us directly even. And then, of course, on social network, we're on all the social networks as at Rise on Social. And so they can reach us that way too, and just engage that way, especially during the festival time too, especially for the social network and things. But
yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, Jarrell, also, if there is a young artist out there that's watching, I'm sure they have questions, lots of questions out there. So I'm sure they could probably reach out to you as well, and maybe you can kind of help guide them on their journey, right?
Yeah, the beautiful thing about us is that we are truly community oriented, and so I feel like I'm the kind of person that doesn't need to have all the answers, but I know that somebody in our community does, right? And there's somebody with a specific passion for to help young creators, like my friend Jonathan, right? He and his family are so great at helping young people come up, and create and innovate and all that kind of stuff. And so there's tons of people in our community, and I think that collective knowledge together helps us all grow.
I love it. Well, Jarrell, Jeneil, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.